Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Ian once again in Beijing. So today I'm going to meet the man himself, Bruce, and we're going to do a little bit of travelling in and around the metro. My name is Ian, I'm a Scottish guy, lives here in Beijing. Been here for 5 years, travel about China and other places, share my travels with you. So stay tuned, and if you can, subscribe. So somewhere around here is the man himself, Bruce. Now I just need to find him. So I see him. He's on the other side of the road. I figured that you cannot miss. Mr. Bruce Connolly.
Hey, this guy got lost in Beijing. By the way, he's not the only one. Look at this idiot that knows Beijing. Today he got on the wrong bus and ended up way up there. I had to walk. I'm supposed to know the Beijing buses. We're going to go on one of my favourite forms of transport in Beijing, the Beijing DTA. I mean, this makes the clockwork arms look like a wee toy. But we're going to go on the world's largest metro system and hopefully the world's fastest metro train also. By the way, the reason I'm wearing the mask, on the Beijing public transport, you must wear a mask. Buses, the metro, anything. If you don't wear a mask, you can't get into the station. Anyway, we're here at one of the busiest streets in Beijing, Nanluoguosiang. We're not going up there because it's absolute madness. And it's not even a holiday today. If you've got a holiday time, you can't move. Is the future of public transport in Beijing. Creating barrier-free access so the disabled, the elderly, people like me can go onto the metro without having to do lots of steps, which in the past was very difficult for anybody carrying a child, anybody carrying luggage. But then in the past, when the first metro lines were open, the people here were much younger and much fitter. Now you've got an older generation. So the metro is now being designed, the new one is being designed so that wheelchair access. So you're going to go up here, press the button, and you've got to get down. When we get down, we still have to go through the security check. It's actually escalators the whole way down. This one gets steps at the beginning, then the escalator. So it's so. Now let's take this elevator into this little box. It'll take us
all the way down.
Into the depths.
Cool. Let's go. Let's do it.
Underground Beijing. You see, I love the Beijing metros here. It's a beautiful station here.
So this is the very first Beijing railway station.
This was the Zhongyuan railway station. It connected with Xinjiang and also the Tianjin, and it was open here because it's actually right beside, very close to what was the foreign legation area of Beijing, where the what you call the early embassies were located just the other side, just past the station. So this became the station that would connect, say, down to Tianjin. It could connect with the boats, the international boats that go out. So right here, you've got in the distance. That's the mausoleum of the late Chairman Mao Zedong over there, and the towers you've got here. That's the Zhongyuan Gate and the Jianluo Tower. And these were part of the massive Tiananmen Gate. That's a big hit. A semicircle here. Huge gate that was the entrance into the inner city, even the outer city of Beijing, but the gate was the entrance to the inner city. And from the inner city, you go through the imperial city into the forbidden city. So boom. So this is the entrance into the former imperial. That's also where the access line of Beijing is coming down through the Zhongyuan, down by the Jianluo, and right down the Tiananmen. So it's a fabulous location for a station. check. Well, it's 26 now. Before the modern era, these had quite a significant role.
So Bruce, tell me a little bit about the history of the metro or the DTN in Beijing.
DTA.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that, because you've been here for 30 years. You must have seen like an incredible amount of change to the metro.
The original metro that I knew consisted really of two lines. There was the east-west line that ran out to the Western Hills, way out in the suburbs, and there was also the Loop line, which is line 2, which it was opened in the 1980s. The east-west line was opened really at the beginning of the 1970s. They were really kind of older technology. Some of it a bit like what you would see on the Moscow metro.
Was it modelled on the Moscow?
A little bit. The design of the cars, the facilities, the stations. I used it all the time. I got very fond of it because it was very, very cheap. Quite waiting around the city, but very crowded and kind of lacking in the facilities we have today. But the expansion of the metro started really in 2000, when the East-West line was extended from really from Xinjiang and extended out to Suiweidong, and it became line 1 all the way right out by the Tongzhou. It didn't go numerically. The next one to open was actually line 13, which made all of us realise there was going to be a big expansion of the metro. But the line 13 opened like a great big loop around the north of the city. It was much easier to build because you were not having to build tunnels. It was built above the ground on elevated track. Steadily over the years, we've seen more and more lines getting opened. In fact, to be honest, lines opened I didn't even know existed. 2008 was a major push for metro expansion. That's when the airport metro opened from Dongjiamen to the Beijing Capital Airport. Since then, we've had the new development to the Daxing Airport. In fact, we'll be at a station later, Shaoqiao Station. We're going to go there to get the high-speed train. Shaoqiao Station is the connection for the Daxing Airport. It's a huge station, interchange. The old stations had steps all the way down, and for anybody that was handicapped, it was quite difficult. Okay, people were a lot younger, a lot fitter. Now, people in China have aged quite a bit. You've now got to cater for the older generation. The metros are now being designed very much towards consumer satisfaction. They are beautiful. The new metro units, they're all made in China, they're all Chinese design. Getting automation on the metro systems. Now, for example, it's not a metro, but the new railway line that was built out from Beijing North Railway Station going through Qinghe. Qinghe is a huge station. This was the railway line for the Winter Olympic. That railway line, 350 kilometre an hour, drives itself. There's a guy there supervising, ready if there's anything happening. There's 85 trains a day running up and down on that line. The whole line that runs from Beijing up to the ski resort at Connolly is driverless, fully automated, built in time, opened in time, and built to budget. And this is going to open up this area for winter sports, not just for the Olympics, but for winter and summer sports. Now, with the building all the new railway stations in Beijing, in fact, every city in China, where they're building the new railway stations, they're integrating the metro system into the building of the railway station. So you come off the train and you walk straight onto the metro within the same building. Like for example, Beijing South. I came off the train from Tianjin, down, through the ticket barrier, straight down into the metro, line 14, up to very near to where I live. You've got the shopping malls
For example, where we were then today on line 8, at Jinyu Hutong station, the one before Wangfujing, there it's connected straight in to the APM shopping mall, used to be called Sundong-an, straight into there, and you find there's a lot of malls, a lot of facilities are now integrated into the system, and it's very, very well thought out to be passenger friendly, and it just keeps expanding, and it's not a stop. There's still a lot more.
And there's how many stations in the maybe roughly about 400 or something?
Well, I think it's 436. I do a lot of travelling in the metro just to see it. For example, if you go out to the Western Hills, the Xinjiang, that's another journey you should do. You get to there's a station on line 10 called Bogao, and Bogao is an interchange station for the special tram line that goes out to the Western Hills. This is a tram car, 2 or 3 coach tram car that starts with the metro station. And you used to use a metro card, and you go there, and it's a fabulous journey through the countryside, stopping at these countryside stations, beside the Summer Palace, beside the Jade Spring Hill, till you get to the frequent hills at the Olympic area at Shougang. Is you go on there onto the Maglev suburban metro, because it's going up a hill. Because Muntal Go, that area is hilly. It starts in the mountains, the western hills. And instead of having an ordinary metro line, we've got this maglev line that goes up this hill. It's a hope to show you later with a journey today to get us back to Sanley Town, which is soon we're heading up, is the integration with the buses.
The Beijing bus is the only way in the world old ladies get up to give you a seat.
I can hear
It's true. It's clean, there's no litter, there's no vandalism, no graffiti.
And I've actually got this down to fine art now, because I've just got my, in my mind, I've got my metro map. I know which stations are the best ones to go into, to come out to. Which ones have got full escalator access? You don't have to climb up all these steps. Look at you carrying heavy camera gear like me. Which ones are connected, very close to bus stops? It'll take you right back to Sanley Town.
Just to finish off the conversation then, how big is the Glasgow Metro?
I'm quite fond of the Glasgow Metro.
Do you know, here's a couple of things, because I read on the Glasgow Metro website, is the third oldest metro line in the world. It takes 23 minutes to go round in a circle, and there's 15 stations. And I love Glasgow, you love Glasgow, and I love the Glasgow Metro.
On the Glasgow Underground.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember was it Ricky Fulton, Francine Josie?
Francine Josie,
He's the song about the Glasgow Underground.
Yeah.
I took my son on the Glasgow Underground. I had him back in Glasgow. He's a Beijinger.
Yeah.
And you can see he's looking at Papa, it's really small. I said, I love it. But the other problem with the Glasgow Underground, when I was a student, I used to have to use that metro quite a lot when I was at the University of Glasgow. Got the Kelvin Bridge, or Hindley, the Hillhead station. The problem really the Glasgow Metro, because it's really quite narrow. You were sitting facing something like that. You were so close to people. I used to be one of these guys in my early days. I used to get really embarrassed. I used to get a beamer. Because you don't like to be staring at somebody. But if something, sometimes you look at. See, if you're on the Glasgow bit, you were like that. People all try not to look at each other. Whereas the Beijing Metro is too busy anyway.
Well, first sometimes we're crammed into the metro, but other days like today, because it wasn't peak, we could actually see the carriage turning almost 180 because of that bend that you told me about. The bend, the train actually, you can see and hear the wheels almost grinding as it turns 180 to bypass maybe some of the more historical areas of Beijing.
Well, actually, the line now runs down the line of Tiananmen, the Tiananmen Street, but it can't come straight down because they couldn't build a line underneath the Forbidden City. You know, that's really
historical.
Historic, it's a sacred site. And they're too worried about doing any kind of excavation under that because you don't want anything at all to affect the stability of the building. You don't want any vibration from the metro in. So the line is really kind of diverted under the Wang Beijing and it comes round like that, so avoiding the main historical core of Beijing. You know, I'm going to say again, I love the metro here.
And it's super cheap.
I'm so used to it, Ian.
Yeah.
You know, anyway, I do love this cafe, Ian.
It is a beautiful cafe.
I'm glad I showed you this. I'm sure you'll be back here.
I think I'll be back here, Bruce. It's a beautiful cafe.
And it's right on the edge of one of my favourite areas in the city. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you back to the Tiananmen station, 5 minutes away, on to the extension of, well, we're going to line 14. The first bit, been running for a long while, goes along to Beijing South Railway Station. But the bit beyond that takes you along to a place called Lizi. And Lizi is the new financial district, Ian. Grief, when you see the buildings there. So I'm going to finish my coffee and we're going to, hello cat.
It's just a cat here, like it's a cat.
You know, there is a cafe. There is actually a cafe up at the Shuchahai that's, I think it's the cat restaurant, the cat cafe. Oh, it's a cat.
And they just cats just walk about.
Yeah.
You can always get a theme.
I mean, that was now sitting on top of the table, Ian. It's comical.
Spotlessly clean. Absolutely spotless.
Videos of playing the Winter Olympics.
This is the art gallery to the side here, just round here.
I didn't see that sign before.
So we've been on the metro for most of the afternoon, stopping at different stops. But we've popped off and we're going to go to a Soho building, which is, I think it's the same people, so Zaha Hadid, similar to another video that I shared before. The link will be up there. There's that Bruce in the background there. But this building is, again, another outstanding piece of architecture here in Beijing. So you can see it. Stunning.
Some scaling. You know,
Is this Hadid? Yes.
It's a Hadid, yeah. Galaxy Soho, Wanjing Soho.
So we're going to go grab a coffee. I think there's a Starbucks in here, get something to eat, refresh, and then hit the metro system again. We'll continue to share it with you because, as you can see, it is super impressive. The metro, right through the whole of Beijing, the whole 436 stations or whatever it is outstanding and a very cheap and economical way to get around the city. So, join me and we'll show you, or join me and Bruce, and we'll show you more of the Beijing Metro. Peace out. I'm actually able to see the driver right there, although I'm not sure how much driving he's actually doing.